Hey everyone, welcome to Open Projects. This is a very short video guide on how to send your contributions and use Git so you can take part in this initiative. This is a short and simplified guide. If you want more details and you want to go more in depth, there's a great tutorial made by Dapper Dino, which I have linked in the description of this video. As a very first step, we will suggest you have a look at the README of the repository, where you will find a link to the contribution guidelines, and if you're an artist, to the art contribution guidelines, both of which are very important and we suggest that you read through. Once you have decided what you want to work on, it's time to make a local copy of the project, so you can edit anything on your machine before you send your changes to the main repository. To do so, there are many ways. You can use a command line to interact with Git, or you can use one of the many applications that are out there. One of the simplest ones is Github Desktop, and that's the one we suggest if you're not an experienced Git user. Simply go to desktop.github.com and download the version appropriate for your machine. This application comes from macOS or Windows, unfortunately not for Linux, but there are other clients that work on Linux that you can find. Once the application installs, just open it and sign in with your GitHub account. In this guide, we'll assume that you have one, but otherwise it's just very simple to go on the website and make one. Now comes the most important part, which is to make a copy of the project so you can modify it. In open projects, we have a central repository which everyone can access and everyone can download, but you don't have writing access to it. As a member of the community, the way you make modifications is to make a copy of this repository, create the modifications locally, and then send them to the main repository through a mechanism that is called pull requests. To make a copy of the repository, you want to go to the button to the top right and click Fork. A fork is a one-to-one copy of a repository on github.com, which now belongs to your user account. When you're on github.com, pay particular attention to the top left corner. That will show you if you're in the fork or in the main repository. Basically, the fork is your playground. In here, you can create as many branches as you want, send your changes, delete things without affecting the main repository. Once you're ready, you create what is called a pull request, or in short, a PR, which is a request for us to pull your changes into the main repository. Later on, we're going to see how to create a pull request after we made modifications to the project. Once the fork has been created, you can click on the green code button and then open with Github Desktop. This will open the fork in your local application and propose to make what is called a clone. You select the folder where you want to save this clone, and then you click on the button, and this will start downloading the project on your machine. Now you have a local copy of your own fork, and you can technically start working on it. In Github Desktop, you will notice that it says no local changes. This is the blank slate that you want to start from. On the top left corner, there's a little Y-shaped icon which represents the fork, and it says Current Repository Open Project 1. This means that you're working in the right space. Then you have a column called Current Branch Main. If you click on that, you will see a drop-down of all the branches available. This means that right now we're working on the main branch. And when it says main branch, it means your local main branch. You can also switch to another branch. For instance, you could choose art assets if you want to work on art, because that's where we usually put the art contributions. At the bottom of this list, you will also notice there's a list of the remote branches which belong to the main repository. If you switch to the art branch, you will see that now we can explore the history for this branch with all the commits that other contributors have made so far. This is because this repository has been forked, so it's inheriting the history of the main repository. And then you have a button that says Fetch Origin. You want to click that very often because you want to be in line with what's happening on the main repository. That will basically fetch all of the latest changes. And again, this doesn't refer to your repository or your fork, but it refers to the main one. So you will be aligned with whatever other contributors have pushed or whatever the Unity team has created on the main repository. Now that we are on the right branch, let's go to the Unity Hub and open the project. Before you open it, make sure that you're on the right version of Unity. This project is being made with 2019.4 LTS, but we frequently switch patches, so make sure that it's the right one by checking the version that the Hub suggests. Once the project is open in Unity, just make sure it works. Go to the folder Scenes and select one of the Unity scenes in here. Open Testing Ground or Testing Ground _small if your computer is a bit old, and press play. Okay, we're ready to go. The project works, we have a local copy, and we can make a new contribution. Let's see how to make it in the next videos.